Hi, I'm Gina Beagle here again. I hope you just took the opportunity to watch a little bit about the 32 lessons that I talked about, which is the mindfulness-based social emotional learning curriculum that will be an all-school program. And what I'm excited to do is introduce you to my friend and colleague, Stacy Cooper, who is going to be bringing in 16 additional mindful lessons that can be used alongside the 32 sessions, and you can go through them week by week with my 2 lessons per week, or you can really mix it up as any way you want. You can do them separately by themselves, you can add them in, whatever feels right to you. So for an investment of $500 extra, of which a percentage of the proceeds goes to COSM, Coalition of Schools Educating Mindfully, this year-long program is going to include 16 20-minute mindfulness-centered lessons of mindful movement. So we're actually getting teens to get moving and get going. And they will also have an additional mindful practice reflection assignment to go along with the mindful movement. Now, these 16 practices are going to go alongside the activities and lessons, the mindfulness-based social emotional learning curriculum that I am teaching. So a little bit about Stacy, aside, like I said, from being my friend, she and I have been teaching for a little over a year an online 4-week teen and young adult program of the Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction for Teens program. And it's been going so well, and it's so amazing that we're actually going to be teaching together this year an advanced practicum for professionals who are wanting to teach our 4-week mindfulness program or the Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction for Teens program. In addition, she is co-author of one of my mindfulness books, dealing with thoughts, difficulties with thinking and feeling and behaviors. And so it's such a pleasure when I asked Stacy about this opportunity. I'm so excited she wanted to do it, because right now in the current climate in our situation, in our world right now, we really need mindfulness, social emotional learning content. And not only do we need it for our minds, we need it for our bodies and getting moving. So I'd love to introduce Stacy and let you introduce yourself a little bit.
Thanks, Gina. That was an amazing introduction, and I appreciate everything you said, and I have loved working with you and getting to know you and becoming dear friends. And I'm so excited about this opportunity as well to be able to reach a much wider audience. I have my doctorate in clinical psychology, just a little bit about my background. And I've worked for years as a private transition and life coach with teens in my community, and now much more online due to the current climate. And I also am certified as a Pilates instructor, and I've taken several other certifications in various fitness modalities, including TRX and barre, and several other integrative approaches. So what I'm hoping to do is incorporate all of my training and my background and integrate it with this program that Gina is doing, the 32-week mindfulness-based curriculum, incorporating social and emotional learning as well, using a fusion of all of my fitness background, but it's all based in functional movement and mind-body connection.
But wait, it's not going to be too hard, right?
So that's the great thing about the Pilates piece of it. Pilates can vary from very, very basic, beginner, very simple stretch-based movements focused on just the mind-body connection and breath. Everything is integrating the breath with movement, which is very in line with what Gina and I teach in her mindfulness-based stress reduction program for teens, but incorporating some gentle movements. And every lesson that I have prepared is going to offer various levels. So I'll be teaching to various levels. I've been teaching for years and years, privately and in group sessions and classes, and I can teach to varying levels. So everyone will feel successful in what they're doing, but they'll be able to be challenged to whatever level they're at, and also challenged to learn how to improve and test their body and try out different things. Several examples of the lessons that I will be teaching. One I'm calling Rising Resilience. And it's basically going to be a 20-minute lesson focused on upper body, arms, and having the theme of rising up. So a lot of movements will actually be them lifting up, raising their arms, rising up and lifting their bodies, reaching upward and outward, and then celebrating what their body can do, maybe pushing them to try something new, but also not punishing their bodies for what they can't do. And so that's one example. Another example.
Be really quick. And so that's going to be tied to my Rise Strong and Be a Survivor lesson, which really gives you an acronym for really rising through and using all your resources and your gifts and talents to really look at those and celebrate being perfectly imperfect instead of focusing on the flaws. One other thing I was going to ask you before you go into your next lesson, you are also, this is going to be able to be used in a classroom setting, in a PE setting, and in a home setting. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. So one thing that we've been learning is how to be creative and adapt and teach to all levels and in all possible settings. So all of the lessons will be easy to adapt to whatever setting and wherever the teen is. So it'll apply to all types of settings and all levels of fitness as well. So the hope is that they'll be fun and it'll focus on strength and stability. Another thing that why I'm infusing Pilates a lot, Pilates is a very mindful form of exercise and it's very focused on mind and body. It actually was called Controlology. It's about controlling the mind and the breath before it was called Pilates. So the focus on that will also help to tie in postural and core strength, posture control, and flexibility and focusing on improving posture. I think that's so important more now than ever, just because of all the sitting and staring at screens all of us are doing, much less teens, a lot of whom have been, sitting in front of Zoom screens and doing all of their coursework online.
Oh, really quick, what's great is that they can use these at home with their families. They can share these videos and trainings, these lessons with their families. And what I love is that they have access to it so they can be using it at home through the week before they watch the next lesson. So whether the school is using it once a week or doing it once every 2 weeks, similar to my 32 lessons, however they parse it out, they can be watching that lesson a number of times so they can work on it if they want to at home or as almost like an on your own practice. What is one more lesson that you're going to do that you're excited about?
I'm excited about all of them since I love being creative and planning things out. And it's cool to be able to have an avenue where I can kind of fuse my doctorate in psychology, my training with you in mindfulness, and also my movement background. So I'm really excited. Another one I would say I'm most excited about is the ground yourself practice, which is also, it coincides with one of Gina's lessons as well. And there's going to be a focus on grounding. So grounding focal points to help with balance and strength and ankle stability, flexibility, but all the movements will be incorporating that theme of grounding and how to really center and ground and focus yourself and be in the present moment to help with balance. And then also just activities where they'll be literally focusing on feeling their feet grounded into the floor. So it will go along nicely, I think, with Gina's activity on grounding focal points
as well as the mindful walking practice and photography that I'll be teaching. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time today to share with our audience a little bit about these 16 lessons. And I hope that after learning about the 32 lessons and the 16 lessons, I hope you'll feel a little bit more secure and really optimistic about having a whole bunch of curriculum that you can be using in your school. So you're just kind of not left in the lurch, so to speak, right now. We hope you'll take our trainings and sign on.